Sorry.
Hello.
Have a seat here.
All right, just gotta lay my bag down.
That what a rough ride. Hang on a second. I know someone. Oh, I even forgot to pull in my spinner rack here for a closer look. Okay, let's rock it and roll it here. Oh, once again, from deep inside a hidden location somewhere deep in the bowels of downtown St. John's comes In the Library of Graphic Literature with your hosts, me, Wallace Ryan, and special guest, Dennis Osbourne. And today we're going to be talking about the best of 2010's.
And there's a lot that we figured out. So.
Oh yeah. We picked out some of the best, and then we'll, for the rest of the show, then we'll have a pause, look around, and that sort of thing. But
we'll do a little tour.
Yeah.
Well, we did the best of 2019. I mean, could have pulled 50, 60 books easy.
Oh, easy.
There would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
So
don't blame us if we miss one of your favorites. Is what I'm saying.
We're just going to talk about different brands and styles, and then we'll do a tour around and see what we get.
Well,
so you had a couple of favorites. Right there.
I'll lead off here. What possibly one of my favorites, and what I think is truly one of the best books from the 2010 still is David Mazzucchelli's Asterios Polyp. If you haven't read this, it's so much unlike his Batman and Daredevil stuff. He went a whole different level with this book.
Okay.
The coloring, everything about it was so experimental, and it changed my mind a lot in terms of a lot of approaches to comics, and absolutely incredibly done. And I hope that people didn't see the spoiler there as I flew through it. And then, of course, my other ones was the Love Bunglers. I mean, I've been a Love and Rockets fan for all my life, and of Jaime Hernandez. But this is one of Jaime's greatest books, and it was great to see an artist continue to grow, into as he got older and older and older. Stuff is still just as good as the old days, right? What about yourself? Throw me a few here from you.
One of my favorites, because I'm predominantly a Marvel fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say the Hawkeye Omnibus.
Yeah.
Matt Fraction, David Aja, who also did Mortal Iron Fist.
Yes, that's right.
Like that. Yeah. But it's almost the start of a new trend, and they got top-tier creators with lesser-known characters to just tell a good story.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an independent title, or like an epic comic, or an icon comic, and just said, here's Hawkeye, just tell a good story.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any big interference from the company. And you saw that. You saw stuff with Superior Foes of Spider-Man. And
oh, God, that was great.
just lesser-known characters, and just have fun and tell a good story.
Yeah.
And it was a new trend, so that's why I included it. Hawkeye is a great book, but it was that trend of almost creator-owned titles, but under the Marvel imprint. So highly recommend it.
Yes. Oh, for sure. And let's see, what else do we have here? Well, of course, this is left over from our other show, was the rise of Tom King in the. I mean, I can remember when I first seen his Omega Man and opened that up, and it opens up with the scene of Kyle Rayner being beheaded like a la, almost like some sort of terrorist video or whatever. And even when I first read that, it was just like, holy God, what is this guy up to? It blew my mind, right? So,
but it's those superhero deconstruction.
Yeah,
like Mr. Miracle, say along the lines of like Frank Miller's Daredevil.
Yeah,
which was a complete deconstruction of the character, and then you build him back up.
Yeah.
Mr. Miracle had that type of feel. You basically broke the character down to nothing, and then you kind of tell his story.
Yeah.
It was really nice. So.
And go your turn. Oh yes.
All right. So I'll let you hold that. So we're just going to say they finally collected the classic Conan run. We talked about a couple of years ago that this is one of our most wanted titles. Marvel ended up getting the rights back to Conan, and they're going really consistent. It looks like you're getting 2 volumes of the regular series, 2 volumes of Savage Sword.
Yeah.
That has been wanted for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Beyond the Dark Horse paperback collection, I think Chronicles of Conan.
Yeah.
So, and they're very. It's a niche title. I can't imagine sales are huge on it because it's 70s Conan, and Conan's not as popular as he was back in the 70s.
No.
But it's almost fan service. They're making it for the fans.
Yeah.
We have no idea how far it'll go.
Yeah.
Conan ran several hundred issues.
Oh, yeah.
And same with the Savage Sword.
Funny enough, whenever I featured Conan on some of my other shows, the viewership on those spiked.
It's a dedicated fan base, and
Yeah,
fans are Conan fans.
Yeah.
And it's a labor of love to the fans because they've wanted it for so long.
Yeah.
And hopefully they just continue with the run.
Yeah, exactly, right. And what else do you got
here? A couple there.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is one of my favorites. This was the Harvey Kurtzman's Jungle Book, which is great. I mean, it's a great book anyway. I love this book from a 50s sort of graphic novel. Really was what it was. But this, of course, as we were talking earlier, what I love, 152 out of 175. This has a tipped-in signature from Harvey Kurtzman, who, because of him being dead, it's hard to get an autograph anymore from him. But the book itself, too, this is, once again, another great thing about this entire decade, too, is that we got all kinds of cool pieces of graphic literature that had since been lost to history and all that.
Right.
And people are digging up all, and these days it's just because they're starting to run out of stuff, so they're digging out more and more of different stuff to do. Another one, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez for Lock and Key. Have you a fan of?
I read the first couple.
Yeah.
It's kind of a modern horror classic.
Yeah.
And the horror genre has died off a little bit. I think the most popular one is probably The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But considering it was so big in the 70s and the 80s, and the 80s more so with the movies and stuff, the comic industry has died off with the horror aspect.
Yeah.
And to see a couple start to come out with such good acclaim is fantastic.
Well, in his series too, a lot of people are liking that Bucket Full of Heads series and stuff like that. But also too, you got people like, what was the other one? The Harrow County and Nail Biter. So a few recently too. Yeah. There seems to be a slight resurgence the past few years of really good ones too, right? And I love this edition too of it.
It's a nice hardcover.
Yeah, because I had the originals, smaller editions, but when I seen this, it was just like, oh, it looks so beautiful. I had to get it. So I gave the others to Les because I knew if someone was going to enjoy it, it would be her. Right?
So I'm going to just grab a bunch of these just as an example. So I'll get you to just hold on to stack. We included a bunch of the image hardcovers because this decade was the rise of creator-owned titles.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you had Walking Dead, which was made into like one of the most popular TV series for several years.
Yeah.
You're getting award-winning series like Saga. You're getting multiple series by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, with Fatale and Fade Out and Kill or Be Killed, and then you're getting Wicked and Divine. Image has broke out. Image is on par almost with Marvel and DC now in terms of quality comics coming out. Some people say they're surpassed because they're not held to certain restrictions.
Well, exactly, and the creator-owned formula, I think, is the secret too, because they're getting their foot in the door and they're getting a big slice of the pie, so they're putting everything into it.
Everything in they can, and they probably had those ideas for years and years, and they're festering enough that they can tinker with it, and when they're ready, they can finally publish it, put it out.
Yeah, and come out fully formed.
And they could have a set 24 issues, as opposed to playing it month by month or story arc by story arc.
Yeah.
They have a start, they have a finish, and you just let them publish it. Yeah. Which is fantastic. So.
Yeah. Which is good with Walking Dead. I like the fact that they had the surprise ending to that, where suddenly it was just like, oh, by the way, this week is the last Walking Dead. Okay, bye, and run out the door, right? Oh God, one of my favorite series for sure. Mind Management. It twisted my brain. It was just like unlike anything else that I'd read. Of all the new artists, when I first got back into reading single issues again after all these years, this one just blew my mind, right? And there was also here we got the great, the record, came in a record, a really nice little Kickstarter thing. But I had to have that. When you showed it to me, it was just like, let alone there's also the limited edition comic too, and that's what I like too. The rise of all these sort of neat little extras, Kickstarter things, and stuff like that.
Little bonuses. I mean,
but
you'll never get a comic with a vinyl now.
No,
it's a new concept.
This I think is my favorite.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, I mean, actually, I should play it on Sophia's record player because she does have a record player because I sure don't. Right? Not yet. Okay. Right. Oh, yes.
Now, we're pretty sure this was 2010. It says copyright 2010 on it.
Yeah.
But Black Sad is maybe one of my favorite comics ever.
Yeah.
And it's definitely my favorite crime noir story.
Yeah.
3 volumes that came out. Recently had a video game come out.
Oh, okay.
And
never seen that. Okay.
They're doing a complete collection of all 3 books. It says paperback, but they've said it's a hardcover.
Yeah, that's it better be a hardcover, or I'm simply gonna cry. Right?
But it's translated beautifully. The writing's fantastic. The art is some of the most stunning art.
Stellar, yeah. Amarillo was great. The Black Sad Amarillo,
yeah,
and
the Silent Hell.
Yeah.
And different eras, different themes. It's just one of my favorite comics.
Yeah.
Of all time now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this came out around 2010 and
yeah,
defined a modern comic that suddenly becomes an instant classic.
Yeah.
For a certain genre is really rare.
Yeah, and have that like that. Yeah.
You have that stuff. So that's definitely one of mine.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you this one.
There we go. Okay. And this, of course, is once again the Fourth World, which I got in the in those. But when this came out, I just had to get it because it looks so cool to be able to... Now, this is the one with the mistake in it.
Yes.
Which I had to keep because it was like, well, I got the other ones in there anyway. And, I hate myself for this, but when the Absolute Editions come out, I'm going to get them because I love this series, but I love to see it big like that.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Appreciate his art more.
I mean, this... You could beat someone to death with this, right? This is... and to me, it is a legendary series.
Yeah.
Everything from... Mother Box to the Boom Tube to, I mean, the concepts were years ahead of its time, right? Oh yes, and
right. So I included this for a couple of reasons. So this was Shield Complete Collection by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and I'm going to say Jim Steranko. I bought it for Jim Steranko.
Yeah.
But I included this because this was my introduction to Silver Age comics.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
This was the first Silver Age comic that I really got into and learned to appreciate and love, and it's from Jim Steranko's art.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorites for that reason.
Oh, okay.
Now, next year it's going to come out in a Steranko's Revolutionary giant deluxe set.
Yeah.
So that's going to probably surpass. This is my favorite collection.
Yeah.
But just for nostalgia, and this is what got me into Silver Age comics. The Steranko run on Nick Fury. This version has to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite books in general. So.
Yeah. I love. I mean, I had them in the Masterworks, but when this came out like this, just like, oh, I hate myself.
Yeah.
But I did it. No, I got into what hooked me was this story when it was in the Sons of Origins, I guess. Of those 70s books from Marvel. And that's what hooked me because I read that. It was just like, wow, this Nick Fury comic, it's and that was the Kirby one, of course, but it was still, I mean, the helicarrier in that, I can remember when I first seen that, it was just like, what the heck is this? It was, like I say, that's the thing with Kirby, big ideas. He was a big man like that, right? So, I guess we've gone through all of our table things now.
And just table things. We just grabbed a couple things for the sake of doing it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Now, and we also figure, well, we'll take a roam around the actual library itself. Now it's a bit of a mess because we've been shooting here for a few hours now, and plus, it was Christmas time, so there's artwork all over the place. But which is a great thing about the library, as I like it.
We'll just pluck some of our favorite collections from the last decade. Hopefully, they are from the last decade.
Yeah,
and just say. This is some of our favorites. Okay,
we'll let you lead the way. I shall be the cameraman. I shall set the camera free of its. Oh, does that mean free? Let me go. Oh.
So we finished IDW. We already talked about Image, the Rise of Image, and the Rise of Dark Horse. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go right into all the new Mobius stuff coming out.
Oh yeah.
So the Art of Mobius, Adina, the brand new limited slipcase for the Inkle that came out. You have a full shelf of Mobius, so that'll tell you right there.
Yeah. And a lot of them did come out. Well, the Arzak, I got picked up a recent printing of that, for instance. Right. And
so you work your way here. We'll kind of just rush pretty quick. Creepy and Airy.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the finishing of the Creepy and Airy by Dark Horse. Thank you very much.
Valiant, there on the bottom.
Yeah.
Valiant has started to come back and become really popular again.
Yeah.
Exo Manowar started to come back, a really popular series that came out.
And here, this is basically graphic novels. These are basically the past 20 years of cool graphic novels from, Mouse Guard to Seth, stuff by Seth, Persepolis, Mouse.
Parker.
Yeah, Parker, Scott Pilgrim, Tintin is there.
And then you see titles, say, like Stumptown, which again became a brand new series on TV.
Yeah.
So
a nice... And of course over here the library
and I'll let you talk about that, 'cause they are
of American comics. Yes, it's just I absolutely love the because I was a big comic strip fan, and I think it was because when myself and my friend grew up and we were doing comics, we were our first audience for comics and all that was with our school newspapers and then with our student newspaper at the local university and stuff like that. So we sort of fell in love with the whole thing, and then we went down, we explored other ones, and we found people like Lil Nemo and stuff like that. Then, of course, I was a huge Peanuts fan, of course. Had to.
And the brand new Akira set that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, God, I love that.
And that's a good, solid, complete anniversary set of Akira.
And I actually read through that, because now that's, even though it's in English, it's in the manga format, the reversed reading, but I actually sat down and read it. Yeah. And when you're reading a comic like that, because you're reading backwards through every page, it's almost like you're reading it again for the first time, right?
So that's a quick little run through some of our favorite books of the decade.
Yeah, exactly. I think we got to...
I'd probably say best decade for graphic literature ever.
Oh, I think so. It's really exploded for sure.
So 20 minutes does not give you enough time to limit everything. So
yeah. This is just a tease, really, right?
It's just a tease of everything. So
yeah.
Trick is to find your little niche, build your own library, and make the collection yours.
Well, that's the other good thing too these days compared to when I was growing up. In terms of like when a customer comes into the shop, I say to him, what are you into? You tell me what you're into, and I'll find you a comic that you like. And these days, you can do that.
There's something for everyone. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I guess that's it, and
that's it.
And thanks for visiting. And now we'll of course be doing our what's to come show now coming up next week, and the Thursday comics one.
Thursday comics podcast. So hopefully now next week. So everyone have a good New Year. Have a good safe New Year.
Yes.
And we'll be back in 2020.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for having me over. Okay. See ya. Crashing into the comics here.